The funding for this video is provided by the amazing members of my Patreon. Also contributions from viewers like you. Thank you. Y'all started from PBS Kids, what you gonna do? Fight me? Anyway, roll the video. I'ma just keep it a book. In the past, I did not look online or anywhere else for that matter to see what people's opinions were about movies. Meaning that I did not let people's opinions on the internet affect how I felt about the things that I watched. Like, I loved that live action Alice in Wonderland movie, and then when I discovered that Doug Walker, you know, the Nostalgia Critics video of it, I was like, eh? And then it gets worse because I've loved the story of Sleeping Beauty. The 1959 Sleeping Beauty is one of my favorite films of all time. So I was excited when I saw that Maleficent was going to be made. Loved the movie when I watched it. And then I watched the Nostalgia Critics video on it and I'm like, And the main reason why I pointed that out is because Doug Walker is entitled to his own opinions on these films, but also it was just a reflection on how many other people felt about these movies just as well. I'm not sure if people were simply saying these things about the movie because Doug said them, and there has been this ongoing problem, including myself because I was a part of this, where we literally would feel a certain type of way about something because of the way Doug Walker felt about it. But then I would see a lot of other people saying these same things that he's saying, and I'm pretty sure they never really watched him ever a day in their life. So I get where you guys are coming from. And basically the reception that surrounds these live action Disney remakes is always just very fucking negative. Like, there's already so much negativity that surrounds these movies. Like, damn, like every other day someone is on the fucking internet talking about how they don't like these films. I'm not even joking. It's a discussion that I am just very much tired of having because it just feels like everyone is making the same points over and over and over again. So today I just want to sit here and talk about some good that these live action Disney remakes have, because there are some good in these things. I don't care what nobody says. I think there's some good there both on camera and behind the scenes. Just a little shameless plug. For 24 days straight, meaning up until New Year's Eve, everything from our website is 35% off. Please use the code HOTSPOT30 for 30% off everything at harriyannahook.com. Thank you. Let's continue. So, did you know that when a show gets canceled, that means that numerous people have lost their jobs? No, of course, plenty of you guys don't. But not just the actors, the writers, the directors, the producers. There are hundreds of other people who have lost their job just as well. Back in May of 2022, people were on the internet celebrating the cancellation of numerous CW shows. Because y'all know Warner Brothers about broke as hell right now. I saw it coming when they made budget cuts at my job. I knew it was coming. But after people were celebrating the cancellation of these shows, it toned down a bit because people who worked on these series spoke up about how it's actually a bad thing for those who have worked on those shows for so long. Because them canceling those shows with no warning meant that they were out of a job for a bit and had to scramble to get booked on another show or movie. And for those of you guys who don't know how the film industry works, it's not just a small independent production where only a few people are taking care of everything. There are 100, sometimes 200, sometimes 300 people that work on one production for a major company like Disney or Warner Brothers or Paramount. To the general public, meaning people that know little to nothing about filmmaking, they would just know that the actors, the directors, the writers, and the producers. They don't know what the hell the costume department does and the many roles that go into there. They don't know shit about the makeup department. They don't know what the fuck a grip is. They don't know what an AD is, and they damn sure cannot tell you what a production assistant does. One good thing about these live action Disney remakes is that it gives the people who need it the most employment. People think that everyone and anyone that works in the entertainment industry is rich, and absolutely fucking not. Only a small percentage of Hollywood is very wealthy. Like, let's be fucking for real. That's the hard-on truth. So when Sydney Sweeney want to sit here and talk about she's broke, baby, no. She's actually at the top of the Hollywood hierarchy. She's just bad at budgeting and spending her money. That much money should not go that fucking fast. I don't care what no one says. Bye. But you know, because she's at the top of the Hollywood hierarchy, she's trying to keep up this lifestyle. But y'all, actors that are booked and busy all the time, especially somebody that is on Sydney Sweeney's level where they're on well-known shows and they're constantly working and whatnot, their paychecks are good. If they actually didn't feel the need to always fucking flex, they are fine, okay? They make a lot more money than a lot of us make in a year and they make in 1 month working on a film. That's just the truth. That small percentage of Hollywood, the ones that make a lot of money, are the ones that are pushed to the front. So it gives people that illusion that anybody that works in the film industry has a lot of money, and that is not true at all. An actor's salary is not going to be the same as the person who did the makeup for them, despite them working on the same show. Like, you know, at your job where people do numerous different things and they get different pay rates, yeah, that's the entertainment industry. And I'm gonna be real, I didn't really know much about this until I started to get involved with filmmaking and like doing an extra and stand-in and photo-dubbing work on Hollywood productions, and then working as an actor and crew for independent productions just as well, and then also being in film classes. And then you sit and realize when you're actually in this environment or you're in class learning about the industry that, wow, the show really cannot go on without these people. Everyone is important. As small as their role may be, it makes a big difference. Let's take catering, for example. Y'all asses need to eat. People can't work if they on an empty stomach. The people who are living paycheck to paycheck in the industry are the ones that are keeping it up. And these people right here are the ones that often don't care what a movie or a TV show is. They don't be caring who on it or whatever. They just take what they can get to make sure that they have food on the table and they have their bills paid. More than half the people working on these live action Disney remakes are just there a part of the project because they kind of have to be. And when the gig ends, they sign up and move on to the next one that they get offered or has opening spots. You just kind of gotta get with what am I trying to say? You have to take what you get sometimes. And it's not their fault that Disney decided to not make something original for once. That's one thing a lot of y'all are so damn annoying about. Y'all would literally blame an entire production crew for this. These people did not choose to make another remake of Cinderella. Go yell at Disney about that. Not them. They're not the problem. They're just there because they need their bills paid. The films do not get made without them. And that's because they have to do it in order to make sure they can make a living. Now, we will be back after this brief commercial break. Hi everyone, the captain here. I just wanted to get on here real quick and tell you guys thank you so much for your support. I have gotten so much fan art from you guys, and I've met plenty of y'all in person at the conventions that I have been at. And also thank you guys so much for coming to the panels that I host. It means so much to me. You guys are so great. I appreciate every little last bit of support you guys give me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can say thank you 100 times, but I truly do mean it. Thank you.
Thank you.
let's talk fashion. While the story for these movies can be a bit lackluster, the fashion never really misses for most of them in my opinion. I don't care what none of y'all have to say about that live action Pinocchio movie. The Blue Fairy's outfit ate down. Sis look beautiful. As these are basically remakes of animated movies, it's nice to see something in a cartoon come to life. Because y'all already know, I'm somebody that fucking loves cosplay. I know, shocker. But plenty of the times, cosplay is just people literally redesigning cartoons and bringing them to life. And that is what these live action Disney movies are doing. But seriously, I love to play dress up, especially when it comes to recreating things that were drawn. Because that is what so many fashion designers do when they are making new pieces. They draw it out and then they go on from there. And it's a bit easier for them on this part because a lot of these movies are already there, so they're not really necessarily working from scratch. They already have that piece of art there for them to make in the end, so they can just go away and figure out how to make it a different or bring it to life and figure out what works and what doesn't. And that is why so many of these outfits have changes where people complain talking about, oh, this wasn't there in the original, that wasn't there. And I'm like, yeah, because when it comes to cartoons, guess what? Anything is possible. Live action, that's not gonna be the case. And making changes to a costume isn't necessarily a bad thing if you can keep the overall look the same, in my opinion. But some of y'all be nitpicking, okay? But you have to remember that the possibilities are endless when it comes to animation. Live action, you have to find a way to work around it, which can also be a good and a bad thing. That's the main reason why a lot of people complain about things getting live action remakes, because we're like, not everything needs to be live action. The reason that this worked out so well is because it was in a cartoon. Let's take Classic 3000 for example. The reason Classic 3000 worked with being so wacky and over the top, same with the Proud Family, is because they were animated. That shit would look so fucking wild if it was in real life, and it would cost so much damn money to get that stuff created because but in this case, it's a good thing when they do make these changes because it brings something experimental and new to the table. I look forward to seeing these live action Disney remakes because it's nice to see what they bring to the table with the fashion. And while the live action Cruella movie did have its flaws, I don't care what none of y'all fucking said, the fashion in that film stole the show. Like, while the movie had so many problems with the storyline because Cruella was just always known as a bitch, but then they made her a bitch with a very sloppy and sad backstory that needed a lot of work. I saw the potential, but it was not there, and it did not work out too well in her favor. But the fashion aspect of the movie is what made it so enjoyable. I literally was sitting at the edge of my seat being like, oh my gosh, what look am I going to see next? And then the entire scene where they had the costume party, where they literally had a concert and all of the looks were just giving, and I was like, yes, this is top tier when it comes to fashion films. It's up there with Blow Up. Alright, if you know what Blow Up is, comment down below. Oh, I know what Blow Up is. You cannot tell me that Disney did not put their whole ass into the fashion for the live action Cruella movie. But plenty of these live action remakes, while the script may be so-so, they do make sure to make the people look good in these movies. Okay, if you have nothing of value to say, just shush. Like, shh, shh, click off. I don't want to fucking hear it. I don't. Because y'all have nothing of value to say. But for the longest, Disney has been a very much white company on screen and off screen. As in the past, the only time we would see people of color in old Disney movies, other than Peter Pan, which is another topic for another discussion, we gonna drag that movie another time, okay? I love Captain Hook down, but that movie, wrong as hell. As in Disney movies, the black people that would be in them, just people of color in general, they would be portrayed as animals or inanimate objects. We really didn't start to see diversity with this company until they started to move to TV with their television series. And I just want to break it to you, it costs significantly less for them to make a show than it is for them to make, you know, their classic films. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. Shows you where their priorities were for the longest. But it just meant to show you how the company felt about people of color. And Walt Disney was in fact racist. Look it up. He has said nigga with the hard R. Walt Disney did not like black people. It's not a secret. I don't understand why people are getting so upset when people bring it up. It's very well out there. And I'm gonna be real, we can't escape the Disney company at this point. They're literally everywhere. I literally could go to Target and I would see Minnie Mouse there staring into my soul. Like, I'm telling you, no, I can't escape the mouse and his wife. Mickey, leave me alone. Like, everywhere I go, I see his face. But looking back at how Disney had very terrible representation and little to no diversity within their works, it's a reflection of America at that time period, because that kind of behavior was everywhere. Being openly racist was a cultural norm, sadly. And it still is to a certain extent when it depends on certain places that you are within the world. And people of color, along with gay people, like the same kind of stories that be in folktales that white people and straight people do, and they recreate these stories with them to feel included, which is not a bad thing. People of color and members of the LGBT community deserve to see people like them within their favorite stories and such. That's why so many stories have different versions of them, because different people want to see themselves within the media. Like I said a while ago, somebody had said something about why does everything need diversity, and I said because white people are not the only ones that watch TV. White people are not the only ones that engage with media, and straight people aren't either. And honestly, y'all can shut the fuck up talking about why can't we get new original stories with people of color and gay people. Because we do. We have those. Y'all just don't go after them. And I'm not about to sit here and sound like I'm kissing Mickey Mouse's ass, because I'm not. But Disney has released numerous projects, original specifically, about people of color, and y'all didn't go look at them. I'm tired of y'all fucking saying, why can't we get original stories about gay people and people of color? Because, well, Disney recently did that. Y'all didn't watch it. Y'all didn't care. Disney did it again, and y'all did not watch it. No, like, I'm not even joking about this one. This show is actually a whole trip. Go watch it. It's worth it. Do it. Real television right here. Disney did it a third time. Y'all didn't watch it. Disney did it again, but y'all hyped up the white movie for doing the exact same thing that they did over a fucking decade ago. So until y'all show up and shout out for original stories about non-white people and non-straight people, this shit's gonna keep happening whether you like it or not. Maybe if you actually sat there and paid attention to the shit that actually had people of color in it, things will work out differently. But also, have y'all noticed that the loudest fuckers that be saying this shit, they don't be caring about filmmaking, they don't care about animation, they just want to find an excuse to complain. So until y'all show up for original content about gay people and non-white people, expect to see more reimaginings of old stories, because you did this to yourself to a certain extent. I don't know about y'all, but the content that I consume and create contains a lot of people of color and not straights. Because that is what I want, and that's what I went out to look for, and that's what I made it. But y'all do not go out of your way to look for these stories. Because you don't care. You absolutely don't fucking care. You just want to complain. If you did care, you would make a list of movies, shows, and books about non-white and gay people, but you don't care enough to do so. And you damn near don't care enough to make it yourself. At the end of the day, Disney is not gonna stop making these live action remakes. But what kills me the most when you guys constantly bring up, oh my gosh, Disney is making another live action remake, they're still making original content. But when they make that original content, y'all sit there and complain about it. Because I kid you not, y'all was complaining about Disney making a Buzz Lightyear movie, which was a spin-off, but literally Turning Red came out around the same time, and y'all was like, oh, I don't want to watch that. It's like I said, y'all just want to complain. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not sitting here defending Walt and his racist ass. I'm not kissing Mickey's ass either. I'm just saying, a lot of these arguments that you guys make when it comes to this company, when it comes to certain aspects of it, meaning the content that they provide, some of it just falls flat. Because I'm like, you said you wanted a story about an Asian girl and you complained about Disney not creating that, but you literally got Turning Red, and then it's not even just Turning Red, because Amphibia, a Disney property, was out at the same time. Disney is making new things all the time, but one, y'all either don't watch it, or two, y'all drag it the hell and back. And like I said, Disney is not immune to criticism, because there are a lot of issues within these projects, okay? And y'all know I would be the first to point them out, but overall, there would be a lot of good there. At this point, I've just grown very much tired of the live action Disney discourse, because it's just starting to feel the same. But also when it comes to these live action Disney remakes, they aren't always all that terrible like y'all make them out to be. These movies are not trying to win Oscars, y'all. They're just trying to entertain. Not everyone who makes something is trying to win an award, y'all, okay? People just want to make shit. Can we just accept that sometimes? The people who work on these projects work so hard on them, and if y'all want to complain, y'all really need to complain to the people in the writer's room. But then you also have to remember that what goes on in the writer's room is not as simple as y'all think it is. So much stuff has to go through changes in the writer's room in order for them to get approved by the higher ups, because Alex Hirsch, I always mispronounce his name. I do apologize. He is the creator of Gravity Falls. He was talking about so many of the writing changes that series had to go under because Disney was like, oh no, we're not doing that. You see? It's honestly just become exhausting seeing people get angry about every single live action Disney remake. I get it. It's tired. I'm tired of every other day I find out something from my childhood is being made into a live action movie that doesn't really necessarily need it. But also, it's not really anything to complain about because they're still making a lot of new original content. So I'm like, if I don't want to sit here and look at these live action Disney remakes because I just want to go and watch the original animated film, I can still go do that. It ain't going nowhere. At this point, I just feel like a lot of people are just getting mad about these live action Disney remakes simply for the sake of getting angry. They don't care. They just want to hear themselves talk. A lot of these people who say these things do not care about filmmaking. And the ones that I do watch their videos about these movies are the ones that I watch and support. But also, plenty of y'all just don't care. You just use live action Disney remakes as a way to complain on the damn internet for attention and a quick buck. All y'all say is the movie is bad. Y'all say that it's woke propaganda. And then y'all need to stop misusing both of those words because y'all be sounding so wrong. Because you are. And because of that, I just decided that it was time to find some good in these productions because the constant negativity that surrounds them was a tad bit annoying. And it's starting to feel like that people are telling other people that they are not allowed to like these movies. And no. You can like these movies. Sure, these movies are not perfect. They're not gonna be perfect, y'all. Like, alright? Nothing's perfect for the most part if we're being specific, but that shouldn't stop you from wanting to enjoy these movies. I don't know about y'all, but I don't really go into the intention of watching something and hating it. I don't want to spend money watching something and disliking it. If I spend money on something, I'm gonna try to find a little bit of something in it for me to like it, because y'all know I hated The School for Good and Evil, but them costumes ate down. That's all I'll give it. Like I said, if you want to enjoy these live action Disney remakes, by all means, go ahead. Don't let Tom123 on the fucking internet tell you that you can't like it. Alright? Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching today's episode of Disney-cember. I hope you all enjoyed, and at the end of every episode of Disney-cember, I will be answering 3 of you guys' cosplay questions. So let's go ahead and get into those. The first one we have is, what is the most you spent putting your cosplay together, including clothes, makeup, hair, accessories, etc. And by the way, love your personal takes on your costumes as a nerdy black girl. Thank you so much. What's the most? I have to say the costume is 2 costumes, I think. No, 3. And they're all Miraculous Ladybug costumes, unfortunately. When I did the costume that was worn at the end of Strike Back, where she combined the horse, the bunny, and the Ladybug Miraculous, I had to take... It took me like 3 days to do that cosplay because I made the Ladybug costume myself, and then also, aside from painting on the dots by myself that was on the red unitard, I had to get a white leotard to put over it, and then I had to paint that, and then I had to let the paint dry, and then I had to flip it over and paint it again, and then I had to do the makeup that went along with it. And I wanted to do like Euphoria style makeup with it because I like doing Miraculous and Euphoria combined stuff for some reason. So doing the makeup took about an hour, and I was recording it and then taking the pictures because of the way I was dressed. Certain angles and whatnot just didn't work out. So I think the longest it has ever taken me to do any kind of costume was that one. Mainly because it was a lot of painting and drying that was involved. I'd say the next one that took a lot of time was when I did the Princess Fragrance costume, which was, like I said, another Miraculous Ladybug costume. Because that was one that I legit could not find anywhere. It took me a minute to figure out all the costume pieces because I found a post on the internet where somebody broke down the costume, so that made it a lot easier for me. But then I had to figure out which pieces went with what and what needed to be painted on in the sorts. And then it took me about an hour. It didn't really even take me that long to get painted green because I had to paint myself green, like my face. Everything else was covered up, so I didn't have to paint the rest of my body. It took me about like 30 minutes to get the paint on and everything like that. So I say that costume took about 2 days because I had to flip it over with the paint. And then I'd say the next costume that took the longest was my Mayura cosplay. Mainly, and it wasn't even me that did it. You know, Beauty by Shata on Instagram. I love her. I adore her so much. Basically, you know, Mayura was basically blue. She had to get painted blue. I was painted blue, and that took about a good like hour and 30 minutes, I say, because I had to be painted blue and then it had to dry and then we had to do the makeup and everything on me. And then the costume, people were asking me about how I made my Mayura costume. It was really just a shawl. It's really just an oversized shawl that I had wrapped around me, and it resembled Mayura's costume a lot. I didn't do like the feathers and all of that stuff, like the peacock or anything like that, but I just got like an oversized shawl and gave it the illusion that it was a dress, and I had tights on so I wouldn't have to paint my legs blue, and I didn't show my arms in the picture. It took us a minute to get the pictures to work it out to give it the illusion of me like wearing a dress and whatnot, and I just wearing an oversized shawl, and then, you know, the blue makeup, and, you know, the wig, we had to make sure we get it looking correct. And then also it took about 45 minutes to get the stuff off of me. So those are the 3 cosplays I say that took up the most time, and most time in one day, and the other 2 took time over 2 days. But like in one day it took us like almost fucking 4 hours to get that done. The Mayura, but I'm happy with the way the Mayura cosplay came out. Next one is, where do you draw your inspiration when you're putting your own creativity or vision into a cosplay project? I really use a lot of my culture. As you guys know, I am a Black woman, specifically an African-American woman, and I just like to incorporate, you know, Black American culture into what I do, and just Black culture in general. Because when I did my Mayura cosplay, I was like, I want to wear a blue afro wig because I see that Natalie's hair is straight in this, but I was like, that's just, I want to put a spin on this where people will remember, oh yeah, that's the Black version of Mayura right here. So that's why I did that. And even with my like Descendants cosplay, when I did Audrey, while, you know, Audrey is a mixed girl in it and her hair was straight and pink and whatnot, I still wanted to show that part of me because I like to incorporate a little bit of myself into my cosplays, because one of my friends actually pointed this out. But I basically had braids in my hair, and, you know, Audrey had on pink hair when she was like in her costume. So when I did Audrey, I decided to put pink braids in my, not pink braids, I put pink beads in my hair. And then I remember I did Faye from Cowboy Bebop, and I did purple braids. And then when I did Julika from Miraculous Ladybug, I did purple braids just as well. It's just like the little things I say, because even though cosplay, you are dressing up as another person, I still want there to be aspects that are me very much in there. Like, and also with the Mayura cosplay, the shoes I got Naked Wolf shoes. That is just kind of like, I was like, I want to have something to make it a little bit more fashionable, because y'all know the outfits in Miraculous Ladybug be ugly as hell. But yeah, that's that. And then, like I said, I'm really big on Black hairstyles with my cosplay, Black jewelry, you know, hoop earrings, the gold chain necklaces, things that are just really popular with Black culture, especially the glossy lips. I always gotta have my lip gloss popping, because I remember I still gotta post my Gaston cosplay from Beauty and the Beast, but I wore like a black afro. Yeah, and also I did a Word Girl cosplay and I wore like a bandana with it. It's just like the little things like that, because I'm like, it is a costume, but I also want this to be like, you know, me. Okay, and then the last cosplay question that we will be answering for today is, how long does it usually take you to do cosplay, costume, makeup, etc.? For the most part, it usually takes me about an hour, mainly because I don't really be wearing makeup like that. I do put on something every once in a while, but for the most part I don't be doing like a full face of makeup or everything like that. But you know, sometimes I make the costumes, sometimes I buy them and then alter the pieces and whatnot. But putting costume pieces together usually takes me about like an hour to figure out how to make a costume together with like different types of costume pieces and what needs to be fixed. Hair and makeup usually already be done, like, because I'll just throw on a wig or my hair is already braided up and I gotta figure out if I want to switch out the beads or not. And then makeup is usually not that serious, and then we take the pictures and then we do videos and whatnot. It usually takes about an hour to do, like, actually, like, you know, take care of the cosplay and all that, but like 2 hours if we're being specific and we're talking about me figuring out how to put the costume together and all of that. So that is the last cosplay question that we will be answering today, and I will be answering 3 more in the next episode of Disney December. Hope to see you guys here tomorrow for the next episode. And yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Powerpuff Girls will just blow your mind. Buttercup fight villains 3 at a time. Bubbles will smile while kicking your butt, and Blossom will lead them out of their ruts. Cherish and Powerpuff, 2 of a kind. Both wanna save the world before bedtime. From Townsville, Memphis, New York to LA, the Powerpuff Girls are just